Hey everyone, so unfortunately, I think it's time for me to admit defeat and realize that my Supertunias in this bed right here are not coming back. So the budworms ate almost all of the blooms while we were gone at the Grand Garden Show. That's been a little bit over a week now. I have given them 2 rounds of bloom boosting fertilizer about a week apart, and they have not flushed back, which is definitely not normal compared to my experiences in the past, both this year and the previous year. Usually if they're going to come back, they would have flushed back by now. So what I think I'm going to do today is pull them, which does break my heart, but they did last longer this year than they did last year. Last year I was looking at my photos. I do monthly update photos on Instagram, and on September 1st these were already gone, so it made it a little bit into September, which is better than it did last year. So I'm going to pull them and I'm going to replace them because there will be empty areas in the corners, and I like my beds full of stuff. I think I'm going to try to replace them with plants I already have because I don't want to start something from seed. That'll take too long to grow. I had tried actually broccoli last year, but the zinnias have too much shade, so they weren't getting full sun. That did not work. So I want to put in stuff that's already in my garden into the corners, and I think the best place to go and find stuff for that is the back garden. So I know I have some gomphrena back there that's growing in a grow bag. It was extra gomphrena that I couldn't bear to get rid of, and now I have an excuse to never get rid of anything because I might use it later, even pretty late into the season. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I also plan to pull, I'm looking at them right now, some of my other petunias that just aren't looking great anymore, because I'd rather get plants in here transitioned for fall that are going to look a little bit better than kind of keep hanging on to things that don't look that great. So let me show you what my petunias look like, and then I'll show you what my plan is to replace them with. I don't know if my plan will work, but we will see. And then we'll go ahead and attempt to replant where I pulled the petunias. So as you can see, I mean, there's not even one single bloom on this one anymore. This one over here has, I don't know, I'd say a little bit under 10 blooms, but again, it has not flushed back. It's actually has fewer blooms than it did when we first came home. And then there's 2 back behind it that basically look the same. So all 4 of these I'm going to pull. And then I'm also going to pull the ones on this cart. Now on camera, this one doesn't actually look as sad as it does in real life, but it doesn't look great. This one, almost all the blooms are gone. This one, almost all the blooms are gone. You can see here all of the holes. So as sad as I am to pull something that's kind of trailing down, I just think it's time to do that transition in the garden. The alyssum still looks great though, so I think I'm going to leave that, and I'll see what else I can add here. I might move the fern that's currently on the back deck over here now. So here on the back deck is the gomphrena I'm talking about. I think, so 1, 2, 3, there's maybe 4 plants in this grow bag. So I'm hoping that I can dig them up and replant them and they won't die. So we'll see how that does. And then over here is the other fern. So I'd originally had this fern out front. I moved it back here because the sun was too intense. But now that we're getting, closer to fall, I'm hoping this will do a little bit better back up in the front on the flower cart, just to fill in the space. That's obviously going to be opened up when I pull the rest of the petunias. So I guess first thing, get rid of the petunias and then try to replace them. Bed is now empty of Supertunias, and there's actually not like as much bare space as I thought actually in the bed, but not having the plant trailing down on the sides makes it look much more bare. So 2 plants are sitting here. The other 2 plants are sitting here. And then this is the view from the back. This space definitely opened up now that the Supertunias aren't there. Now I'm gonna go ahead and pull 1, 2, 3 of these Supertunias in the pots as well. Everything is pulled, and I actually don't mind the look of just having the pots there, but I definitely want to put plants in them as well. I don't know if I'm going to plant everything up today. I might at least put maybe that sweet potato vine in one of these. We'll see. But now I'm going to go ahead and run over to the other side of the deck and get the plants over here. Here's what was in that, I think it was 10-gallon grow bag. Basically 2 of the pink QIS Gomphrena here, a third one here, and then there were 2 much smaller carmine plants. So there's actually 2 here. I have 4 corners, 3 of the QIS pink, so I'll probably do 2 of those in the front, 1 in the back here, and then I will put the carmine tucked in the back that you can't see the most often. So now time to go ahead and plant. So it's a few hours later, and that's for 2 reasons. So first, whenever I come out during the daytime, I feel like there aren't a lot of wasps at that time, but as soon as I actually start working in the garden, then they start to swarm around me. So I let them do their thing for a little bit. Then I came back outside, and I'm realizing the vision I had in my head is not turning out as it is in real life. And at first I was thinking, well, this won't even be a good video then, but I think showing garden fails can also be helpful. So basically, my vision of putting the Gomphrena in the corners was gonna look a lot better than it's currently looking. I've tried to put in some additional plants in different places to make it look a little bit better, but I don't know if this is gonna stay as it is for very long. I'm hoping in the next weekend or 2 I can head back to the garden center, pick up some more fall plants, because there weren't a ton yet. I got a few mums, a few pansies, but there weren't really a lot of pansies out yet. I want to get some cabbage, which I think could fill in some of the spaces here nicely. But let me go show you kind of what it's looking like right now. So here's the front, and actually as I'm looking through the camera lens, I don't know what this camera does, but I swear it makes things look better than they are in real life. But down here, I just decided to put the fern here in front of this raised bed and then in between the 2 heucheras, just because I thought that filled the space nicely. So that I like. Looking over here, so this Gomphrena I think had the smallest root ball when I dug it up. It looks a little bit sad. I'm hoping it bounces back. They're all kind of growing in weird ways from when they were in the bag, so I'm trying to create the same type of trailing effect as the Supertunias, but I don't think that's working out real well. But there's that side, and then there's that side, which is kind of growing that way, and then blending into the Gomphrena over there, which actually I don't mind. And then to fill in the space in the center, because I don't think either of these is really going to grow much more than they currently are during the rest of the season. But I did put in this sweet potato vine, which I accidentally broke off and had rooted, so there's only a few teeny tiny roots on it, so I don't know if it is going to survive, but hopefully by planting it here in this bed, it'll perk up a little bit. So yes, I miss the Supertunias dearly, but it was time for them to go. So that is what this bed is looking like right now. Let me take you around the back. Here is the back of the bed. So we have another of the Gomphrena here, and then I didn't have any more here. There were 2 very small carmines, but all the stems were broken. They just didn't look great. So now I just have empty space here, and having things not kind of symmetrical does drive me a little bit crazy. So I'm gonna figure out what I can maybe put here that fills in that space. So who knows, we'll kind of see what happens. But this Gomphrena here, I feel like is kind of the craziest growing. It was the largest one, but some are going this way, some are going that way. We'll kind of see how this turns out once it's settled in place, and you know what, they might all die. So we'll kind of see how that turns out over the next couple days. And then here is my cart so far. So I went ahead, trying to get my shadow out of the way here, but I went ahead and again removed the petunias that were in these two pots, put in the sweet potato vine here. I wish it was a little bit different color because it kind of goes with the morning glory, so it doesn't stand out as much, but then again it also kind of just makes it seem like it's trailing down. So don't know if I love that or wish it was a different color. I put some mums there, we had the fern back there, the alyssum trailing down, and then I just potted up 2 more mums down here which don't fill the pot, so I want to get some pansies to plant around them. But that's kind of what it's looking like right now. I would definitely want to give this cart kind of a full fall makeover here soon. So that's how it's looking right now. Again, not what's in my head. Not as terrible as I thought it was, kind of looking at it back again. So it'll do for now. If something, like if I come up tomorrow and everything dies, I'll throw it into this video. If there are no updates, assume that things are, at least for now, still alive. But yeah, this was kind of my attempt at, I guess, the beginning of the fall transition. Not at all what I had in my head, but hopefully I can get some more plants soon and then kind of fill in the empty spaces here. I think the cabbages would look really nice in the corners here if the Gomphrena doesn't work out. So all the work in progress, we'll see how it goes. Thank you so much for watching, even if it wasn't very informative, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.